Hi, I'm Marc Stoudemire, and this is the second season of Get to the Joke. Our guest today is none other than Alan Massenburg, who is one of the coolest and most talented comedians that I've ever gotten to perform with. I love any time that him and I can be on a show together. He's just an amazing comedian with some of the best written jokes I've ever seen. You can catch Alan out at his website, maxhysterical.com. He also has one of the most popular Instagram pages that I've ever known of a comic to have. You can catch that out at Alan Massenburg. And he's also one of the hosts of the very popular podcast, Proper Ebonics. So please subscribe to this channel, and now let's get to the joke.
I love my mom, but I can't stand her on Facebook, yo. I wish she would just like my post and leave me alone, all right? I never forget one time, like on my birthday, I put a post up, I said, I can tell I'm getting older because my knees start to crack during sex. Right. My mom commented. She said, boy, you have no idea, okay? She said, wait until you're my age. I said, yo. I ended up blocking my mom, okay?
There we go.
There we go.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing okay. It's good to see you, man. Not that I don't see you on Facebook, but like I haven't talked to you in like a long time.
It's been like a year, probably.
I know that's still a long time. We start running into each other every so often. You know, at least like quarterly.
when you booked me.
Yeah. I really love your jokes. They're so good and so clever, and I love your stage presence, man. You're such a cool guy on stage. Like, I wish I was half as cool as you appear to be on stage. So the kind of meat and potatoes of this is kind of like to kind of get inside your head and to kind of like tease out kind of how you write jokes, how you edit your jokes, and you know, kind of like how they go from like square one to like the final version. And so I know you live in Lancaster now, and that's not too far from where I grew up in Harrisburg. But are you originally Lancaster? Is that like, have you been born and raised? Where are you originally from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Philly.
Oh, really? Okay. So was Lancaster moving out for the job or for the family, or what was the?
I went to college. In Lancaster.
Oh, okay.
And when I went to college out there, I met a young lady, got her pregnant twice by accident, and then started a family out there. So I'm saying, so I had my kids are in Lancaster, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I set up shop, you know what I'm saying? So that's where he was at.
No, I do want to talk about that because you are a dad, and I do, like, I'm also a father, and I, you know, I was trying to figure out how you can, like you have a full-time job, you're also a comic, which is, and it's not this past year, but in itself a full-time job, and you're also a dad, which is a full-time job. So you literally have 3 jobs that you juggle up in the air. So I am going to ask you some questions about that. But I guess to kind of start out with everything, like, can you kind of walk me through when you knew that you were funny? If you can think that far back, like not just like funny, like to yourself, but like how like you kind of made other people laugh that weren't that like not inside joke stuff.
Probably for like a lot of my life, man. Like in school, like I always was like class clown. You know, kind of always was a smart aleck. I got in trouble for talking too much in class, things like that. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like a bad kid growing up, but like I always was like just like little asshole. You know what I mean? So like, I would crack jokes, and I got into fights over things I said about people. Everyone else was laughing, but they weren't laughing. You know what I mean? So like, I felt like for a long time I knew that I was funny. You know what I mean? But I didn't realize till like very late in life that it was actually something I could take and do something with. You know what I mean? Like I always watched Def Comedy Jam, Comic View, all that stuff growing up. But like in my late 20s is when I was like, yo, I could do that. Like, I'm funny. Like, and I've always been like funny, and but like I was like, yo, I could do stand up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it started at an early age. Though I was always like cracking jokes, and like on the football team, like I was always that guy like that say something funny on the bus rides to games and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it was something I think I kind of knew for a while.
Now, like, so, like, how early in your life then was like stand up kind of like registered to you, like that this was like that stand up was a job, and that stand up that there was like this whole world, this kind of like unconventional career side of stand up. When did you kind of like start getting your fingertips into like kind of like the stand up comedy is a thing that's possible for me to do?
Yeah, like my so probably when I was like 12, 13, like I had like these friends that lived like down the street from me, and their mom was one of those moms that didn't really care. Like we would hang out at their house, they would let us do whatever we wanted, right? And we always used to watch like Def Comedy Jam. Like that's when I got like opened up to like stand up. I was like, oh, this is funny. Like, and then it kind of got to a point where I would see like Martin Lawrence on like actual TV shows and things like that. And I was like, oh, these the guys from Def Comedy Jam, and they was transitioning to do movies, television, things like that. So I kind of understood that stand-up could definitely take you very far at a young age. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but yeah, I think that probably like early teens is when I realized like this is actually a real job. You know what I'm saying?
Now you said you had to go to a friend's house in order to watch like stand-up comedy. Was like your parents not into stand-up? That wasn't something that they found to be fun or anything?
Yeah, so I had like two different homes growing up. Like I lived half of my mom and like half of my dad. And my mom was always like very religious. Like she listened to no rap music. It was only gospel music, things like that. So it was definitely no stand up going on in her house. And my dad was kind of like, he was a hip guy, but he always wanted to like shelter me. You know what I'm saying? So like he wouldn't like open me up to things that he thought was bad for me. So like we didn't watch like stand up comedy like in the house like that. So but like going to my friend's house though, they was ratchet over there. Like everything went down at their house. Like their parents was like smoking, drinking, and we could watch whatever we want to watch on TV. You know what I'm saying? So like going to their house, like that definitely was my like opened me up to like the real world and things that my parents didn't want me to see. I was going to see it down the street at my friend's house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So if your mom was like real religious and your dad was kind of like kind of like hand you with kid gloves, like. How did they deal with you being funny in school? Because you even said like sometimes I get into fights about something that I said or something like that. How did they handle you as being a funny kid and like class clown? How'd that go over with them?
Well, it was cool because so like I wasn't bad, you know what I mean? Like I didn't really get into like big trouble as a kid. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like my little brother was terrible. Like, my little brother got suspended, expelled. He was in night school. You know, like everything I did just flew under the radar. You know what I mean? So I couldn't do no harm. Like I played sports. My grades was always okay. Like it was, I wasn't like a bad kid. You know, so it wasn't like me being funny in class was too much of a problem. You know what I'm saying? So like, as long as my grades were okay and like I didn't get like suspended a whole bunch. I might have got like in school suspension. Yeah. But like I like a big problem at home. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, so, I mean, now, did you use humor at all? Like, so your parents were split up, so were you using humor in a way to kind of, like what age did you start having to go to two different houses? Like, how old were you at that point that your parents separated?
I've never seen my parents together.
Oh, okay. Like, okay. Well, I was trying to think, like, did you use humor to kind of, like, comfort them or whatever? Because, or was it only with your friends that you were funny?
No, I think what happened was, like both my parents lived in Philly, right? At the age of like 12, my mom moved all the way to Georgia. Okay. So I was strictly with my dad, you know what I mean, at the age of 12. And that's also a time that my mom went away and I started watching comedy. Yeah. Started like, I think around that time though is when I was kind of like, I don't say acting out, because like I said, I wasn't bad, but I definitely was experimenting with like my lack of like love and emotion. Like things were coming out of me. Like I kind of probably I probably got joy. Yeah. Out of like making other people feel bad. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I mean, no, I get it.
So yeah, I think around that time was when I was like, oh, you may be mad at me, but everybody else is laughing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was kind of like I might have used that. But
that's kind of a crazy. It's kind of a crazy situation. So your mom moves away when you're 12. How long does she stay away for until she comes back to Philly?
She never came back.
Oh, so she's still in Georgia. Oh wow. Georgia, yeah. Okay. Now, how often did you see your mom like on a yearly basis when you were 12, 13 or whatever, would you say?
I would always go to her house during Christmas break for like a week. And then during the summertime, I would stay with her for like a month. Okay. So you saw your mom for a month and a week a year, which is kind of crazy as a 12-year-old kid to kind of, I mean, I can't relate in that aspect. So I'm trying to wrap my head around, like, so you're with your dad the whole time. Now, was your dad, you said he like, kind of sheltered you. Was he a, kind of like what they call like a helicopter parent? Like he was always on you? Like, did he know you were going to these friends' house? Or was he working a lot and not really like, because he couldn't be, two places at once kind of thing? How'd that work with him? Yeah. He always worked. He worked hard, right? So he worked hard, so he slept a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like he knew where I was going, but he didn't know what I was doing, where I was at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like
he trusted you. He also had a trust in you to let you go do that. Then
like I said, he trusted me because like my little brother was bad, right? He was bad as hell. So like I was kind of like the good kid, and I was also sneaky. Yeah. So it kind of like. He didn't know what was going on, in my life. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know what I was open to and what I was like discovering as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? So, but he tried to be like a authoritarian dad, but like I said, I was good at maneuvering.
Yeah. Now, when you say that maneuvering, like if you got in trouble with your dad, would you use humor to kind of like disarm him a little bit? Like if he's like on top of you, if you kind of make him laugh, you might be able to get away. You said you're good at being sneaky. Was being funny part of that game plan to be sneaky?
No, he didn't play that shit. Like, my dad, he'll punch. I'll never forget one time he punched me in my chin and my chest at the same time with the same hand.
Oh my God! What I mean? So he's a big dude then.
Yeah, big guy. You know what I'm saying? We didn't really play with him like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was strict. Like I'm probably still scared of my dad. You know what I'm saying? So it's like.
So were you? I guess let me ask you this then. So were you almost like a pressure valve for like you just wanted to be funny all the time, but when you're with your dad you couldn't be funny. So when you were in school or with your friends, it was like the valve kind of released, and then you just did whatever, and it was just like I mean not like you got yourself in any trouble, but maybe if there was somebody following you the entire time, like this dude's getting into trouble since he's not getting caught, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Like going to school was definitely like a release valve for me. You know what I'm saying? For real. That's my girlfriend. She's going to get food.
Okay. How's your dad and your mom then when you're like, I'm becoming a comic? Like I know you have a full-time job, but I know if the comedy thing works out and the full-time job's gone. Like are they supportive of your career? Do they believe in your dreams? Or are they kind of like, just, we don't care really, like just leave us out of this comedy thing?
No, man, both my parents support me 110% for everything I do because they trust me, and they know I'm not a knucklehead. I got a good head on my shoulders. I got kids I got to look out for. So like, they know I'm not doing nothing I shouldn't be doing. Yeah. My mom is, but when this episode drops, my mom's going to watch it. Okay. She watches everything that I do. Period. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he supports me 110%. My dad supports me from a distance. Like he's never been to a show. He's not on social media, you know what I mean? But we talk. He asked me how's comedy going. He asked me, what's going on, and he likes to be informed. But like I said, he's supported from a distance though. So they're two completely different. Like my mom, whatever. If I'm in Georgia doing the show, my mom is there. You know what I'm saying? Like when she does come up, because she still has family up in Pennsylvania. So when she does come up and I got a show, she's there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they're both very supportive, but in their own different ways.
So, how does it make you feel that your dad has never seen you perform live or at all?
No, I hate it. I hate it. I'm not going. I tell him. I'll be like, yo, when you gonna come to a show, man? Because some people not fortunate enough to have their dad in their lives at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell him, I'm like, yo, when you gonna come to a show? And his excuse is, his shows are too late. He be sleeping. You know what I mean? He'll say like, he don't want to like put a damper on the things that I say. He thinks that because he's gonna come to a show, I'm not gonna do what I do and go all out. I'm like, yo, I don't care. I'm gonna say the truth. Yeah. If it hurts, it hurts. What it is. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that's just a way for him to like. I think he's probably more scared to come to a show than I am to have him come. You know what I mean?
Do you think that he would actually be embarrassed if he was there watching you perform? Do you think that's what's keeping him? He thinks he would be embarrassed? Is that what you think? Like, forget the sleeping thing. I don't think you buy that. What do you think the actual reason for him not coming to a show is?
You know, I don't know, man. I think he might be afraid of things that I say, because like I am an asshole, you know, and I crack jokes about real things, and I talk about my real life, and I talk about a lot, you know. And he may be the butt of the joke, or not even the butt of the joke, but he may be the reason the joke happens. You know what I'm saying? Because like I got a crazy life, man. Like my stepmom used to be my mom's best friend. Like that thought is crazy. So like, I think he may be afraid of things I'm going to say. I don't know. But like, I don't have no problem with, if it's the truth, as long as I'm not lying and talking bad on your name, then it should be okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's just him. I think he's just afraid of what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? But he does, like, from time to time, he'll check my Instagram stories or something like that from like my sister's page and things like that. So like, I see he's watching, but he ain't been to a show yet.
Okay, so you have a sister. How many siblings do you actually? So you have a sister and a brother. How many siblings do you actually have then?
Yeah, I'm the oldest. 2 brothers, 2 sisters.
Okay. Now, was being funny kind of? I mean, that's, I would consider like a larger family, 5 kids. You know, that's. Would you consider being funny like kind of way for you to get attention, considering there's 4 other people now hanging around you?
So in my household, I don't have no like whole siblings, like 100% siblings. Whereas I'm my mom and my dad's own kid. So it's like my siblings are all spread out. And I got 2 of my siblings live in Georgia, 2 of my siblings live in Philly, and I'm the oldest. You know, and I was been a good kid, so I don't think I was ever like needing attention. I mean, everybody could use a little bit more attention, but like I don't think I was being funny because of that. I think I was probably being funny because I got a kick out of, you know, I got it.
Let me run this by you and see if you agree or not. So it was interesting. The one thing that keeps hitting my mind is you're like, my dad's supportive from a distance. Would you describe from a distance your relationship with your dad? Everything, not just the support, but everything is from a distance with him?
Facts. A spot.
Okay. And would you think that the way that you said, like, hey, I'm an asshole, like I'm being funny, and you know, is that kind of your way of like, hey, I respect my father / I'm kind of afraid of him, but this is kind of like how I can rebel and get under his skin. Like, these are the kind of jokes that would kind of irk him, and that's why he stays away. If you were like a Jim Gaffigan like comic, do you think he'd be more showing up at your shows if you're just making fun of Hot Pockets and ham sandwiches?
Yeah, I got a good turkey sandwich joke, okay? But yeah, I think you might be right, man. Like, for sure. Like he knows how I am, you know, and I don't really hold no punches. So I think that if I was more of a 1, 2, 3 kind of joke kind of guy, I think I'd probably be more, you know, susceptible to coming into a show or whatever. But I think everything with my dad though is definitely from a distance.
Now, does he have a different relationship with his other kids, or is it all similar to you? Does he always kind of keep everybody at arm's length kind of thing? Or is he closer to other kids?
He made me cry, Marc, man. Listen, man. He has a great... Him and my brother are so much closer than me and him are. Like, they talk about things. Like, my brother will tell me things that my dad told him. I'm like, well, he told you that?
Is it the brother that you said that's real bad? Your younger brother's real bad?
Yes. Yeah.
And your father's real strict, but somehow he seems more open to the kid that's more getting in trouble a lot more than you, who's a better kind of person, I guess. I don't know what to say.
Because my little brother is more like my dad. My dad was a bad kid too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Dad got in a lot of trouble too when he was a kid. Like my dad fought a lot. My dad used to be a bouncer. You know what I'm saying? Like he fought a lot. You know what I mean? So it's like they kind of relate more. Like they're in the cars. Like I don't give a fuck about cars as long as it runs. I don't care. You know what I mean? So like they have a lot in common, and I peeped that when I was young. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it is. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Now, like, how old is your dad?
What am I? I'm 32, so he's 54.
Okay. Do you see him like ever? You guys ever getting? I mean, you live with him more than you live with your mom, but I feel like you say you're closer with your mom. Would you say you're closer?
No, I live with my mom. I lived with my mom for 12 years. I lived with my dad for 6.
Oh, okay. So I thought as soon as you turned 12 and she left. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Well, I lived with her till I was 12, and then when I turned 18, I was out the house.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me ask you. So okay, and then so you lived in Philly, and you went to. So you must have been a pretty good kid. You went to college, what college did you go to in Lancaster?
Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology.
Yeah. I'm from. I know. I mean, I went to Susquehanna Township, so I know a bunch of kids that went to. They're probably, I mean, I'm 35, and they were older than me, so you probably have no idea who they are. But that's a good school, man. So like, obviously, so now, what was your parents' decision to see that you went to college and now you kind of want to get into stand up? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, so college wasn't like a huge thing in my house. Like my mom didn't go to college. My dad did 1 semester in college just to play basketball.
Yeah.
Then he got homesick.
Yeah.
And went back home. That was it. So college for me, it wasn't like a big drive when I was in high school to fill out applications. And the only reason I went to Thaddeus Stevens is because the football coach came to my school and pretty much recruited anybody who would, because they was, they have like a junior college football team or whatever. And I played football, and it was like, yo, if you come to our school, you can play football. And I was like, okay. And like, in March of my senior year, that's when I decided I was going to fill out the paperwork and go to Thaddeus Stevens. So, like, if it wasn't for that coach coming to my school, I don't know what I would have did. I know I did.
Okay.
So it wasn't like they were. So when I did finally make my way to stand up, they wasn't like, well, what about your schooling? They didn't give a fuck about my schooling.
Well, so what was it? So like, I mean, so obviously you were exposed to stand up when you were young. You're at your friend's house watching Def Comedy Jam, Comic View. When did it click in your mind that I really want to be a comic? Like, when did that? I know you didn't do comedy till 2015, but I don't think that's when you wanted to be a comic for the first time. I think it was way before that.
Yeah, I've been playing around on social media probably 3 years before I started doing comedy, like stand up. So I kind of built like a little following on Instagram. I had a couple thousand followers. I would hold up the cardboard signs with the funny words in the cardboard signs. I was doing that for a while. You know what I'm saying? And people kept saying to me like, yo, you're funny. You should try stand up. Like they kind of gave me the confidence to try it. Like I was like, okay. I mean, I kind of in the back of my head, like, of course I know I'm funny. I think I'm funny. But that was like the battery in my back that I needed to give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? So without social media, I don't know where I'd be. Like, because that definitely, people was commenting like, yo, you're funny. And I was getting posted and reposted by other comedians.
Oh, yeah. You were probably, of all my friends, the most on social, like the most well-known social media, like comic friend of mine. Like you kill it, man. I mean, your stuff gets shared all over the place, dude. Like, so I do want to talk about that a little bit later on, but like, so now you're a stand-up comic and you're in Lancaster, like having lived in Central PA, like it's not a hotbed of stand-up comedy there. You had the Lizard Lounge until that closed. You had the Comedy Zone, which is, like, open mics are far and few between. There's a few little kind of places here and there, kind of Gary Lamaz shows kind of deal. But like, how are you able, like, I mean, obviously, so I guess like now I want to kind of talk about you as like a father. It's like being a father. I mean, you staying in Lancaster, obviously for your kids, tells me that being a father is the most important thing in your life. Is that more so than comedy, more so than anything else? That would be a fair statement, correct?
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair.
Do you ever see leaving Lancaster for any reason until your kids are out of the house to pursue comedy?
Well, I mean, like I said, like right now, listen, man, I'm not in Lancaster right now. I'm in Brooklyn right now. I put a lot of miles in my car, you know what I'm saying? So my girlfriend lives in Brooklyn, my kids are in Lancaster, and I'm back and forth, you know what I'm saying, pretty all the time right now. But no, unless I don't know. Like, no, I don't. I'm gonna just be traveling and commuting back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the drive, which is a good thing for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, no, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I go to the comedy. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'll be in Lancaster half the time, but the other half the time, I'm where the shows are at. You know what I'm saying?
So can you kind of walk me through a week in your life? I mean, pandemic aside, like let's say like prior to 2020, kind of walk me through a week of like how comedy looked for you. Whether if you could just like maybe like talk about when you would write, when you would go out to open mics, when you would kind of do shows, go to Brooklyn, like kind of walk me through an average week on a comedy calendar of Alan Massenburg.
Sure. So half my time I'm with my kids. That's what it is. It's either 3 or 4 days out the week I'm with my kids. The other days I'm doing comedy. Period.
Okay.
So if it's during the week that I don't have my kids, like if it's during the weekdays when I don't have my kids, or it's a Monday or a Wednesday, whatever it is, I'm hitting the open mics. I'm at an open mic. I'm doing 2 to 3, however many I can do. Period. Because I know my time is limited.
Well, how far are you traveling to these open mics? Because in Harrisburg, you're not going to be hitting 2 to 3 in one night. So where are you going to Philly?
Yeah, I'm mostly in Philly with it.
Okay.
You know, I travel to Philly. I would go 2 to 3 mics. Everybody know me there, so I can get up early and I can do what I got to do. But yeah, I would definitely make the most of my time on the days I don't have my kids. You know what I'm saying? And then on the weekends, I'm booked. You know. Luckily, I mean, I've been able to put enough work in to be booked pretty much every weekend. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then Fridays, Saturdays, it's shows. You know what I'm saying? And then even with that, if I'm booked on a show, I'm also trying to get a guest spot on the show. So I want to hit as many mics as possible because I know that I'm working with half the time that most people have. Like a lot of people I know and people that you know, they don't have kids. They can be out here every day hitting 3 mics a day. I got to play catch up, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm going hard when I don't have my kids.
So what is the physical toll on your body after having your kids for half the week and then hitting 4 mics a night? What time are you getting home, let's say, on a night where you've done 3 to 4 mics in Philly? What time are you getting back to Lancaster? Like 2, 3 in the morning?
Nah, I ain't getting back that late because I'm getting up early. I'm not going to no open mic and I'm not sitting through 30 people. I'm luckily, like, I'm thankful. I got a lot of people that I know out there, and I put a lot of work in. And I'm kind of like, I'm funny sometimes on the mic. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to wait 40 people. I get to get up there. You know, I know which mics start at which time, so I go here at 6:30. I go here at 8:30. Maybe hit another one at 10. Then I can be out and drive back in an hour and 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, do you crash at any point, though? Because this is still a lot of work, and you still have a job. I mean, what hours are you working your day job? Like, what hours is that taking up of your day?
Yeah, so my day job, when I had it, because I got the pandemic, I had a job in over a year.
Oh, really? So you're out of work because of the pandemic? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I ain't work, but this is the way I was trending anyway. I had my mind set to not have a job, but then my goal was 3 years. I was like, in 3 years, I want to be transitioned out of this job and just doing full-time entrepreneurship comedy shit on my own. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to, cause I know how much job takes out of me. I know how tired I am from having a job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when I did have a job though, man, I was lucky enough I'm smart enough to be able to get my sleep when I need it, even though I had a job. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like, the only job I really had in like the last 7-8 years is I've been a salesman. Like I can sell salt to a snail, as they say. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
So a lot of my jobs where I'm working on my own, I'm just traveling on my own, and I kind of control my own schedule. You know, so I don't gotta clock in 8 to 5. I can literally do what I gotta do from 9 to 1 and go home and take a nap. As long as I get my job done, I was okay. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's kind of the kind of jobs I had for like the last 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So
just a quick plug and we'll get right back to the show. Have you checked out my website, markstod.com? It gives you a whole wealth of information to how to see me live at shows. You can catch past Get to the Joke episodes and bonus content, and you can also check out some stand-up videos for myself. Please check out my website. Again, that's markstod.com, markstaud.com. Come see me live. Also, please, once again, subscribe to this channel, like our videos, leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Now let's get back to the joke. So it's like, I can't help but notice that, like, you're a really good father. And are you close with your kids? Is it that you're not going to have the relationship with your kids that your father has with you? Do you purposely go out of your way to make sure that your kids are not at arm's length?
Thanks. I go out of my way to make sure my kids don't have. I want them to have both their parents in their lives. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to ever. I want them to have better relationship with me than I had with my parents when I was growing up.
Yeah,
for sure. So like, yeah, I make it a point to spend time with them. I mean, I listen, man. I have them a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying? I let them know what's going on in my life. You know what I'm saying? I let them know how important they are in my life. Things like that. You know, so I make sure that's first.
What's their relationship like with your father?
Oh, they love him. Then that's Pop, man. He buy whatever they need. So like. His relationship with them was way better than mine when I was 13. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Is he using them to kind of, does he recognize in himself the mistakes he made with you and trying to correct them by being closer with your kids?
I think he does. I think he does. Like we are closer now. Like me and my dad definitely are closer now than we were like at any point in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that, you know, yeah, they're also girls. Like when you growing up, when you a boy, you got to be tough. You know what I'm saying? You got to be hard. Don't show no crying. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he might have not understood what was going on with me. You know what I'm saying? But like he definitely takes it upon himself to make sure he has a good relationship with my daughters. He calls them and texts them all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like. So I think that's cool, and he does recognize it.
So where was your outlet? Because you just said, like, hey, I can't talk, like, I can't have those conversations about, you know, growing up, not now, but growing up, I couldn't have those conversations with, you know, with my dad. Your mom was, you know, 1,000 miles away in Georgia. So where was your outlet then? Because when you're on stage, you just said yourself, your jokes are what's going on in my life. You have no problem relating to an audience. Like, your background is mostly different from most of the audiences I'm sure that you perform in front of. However, they relate to you because you're a very good wordsmith. Your jokes are very on point, and I kind of want to talk about how we talked about editing, but I kind of want to see how you kind of condense everything to keep out unnecessary words, which I think you're very good at. But like, where is it that you kind of found this voice of yours? Like, growing up, did you have an outlet to kind of go to, or was all this stored up, and now all this storing up in your body is now coming out on stage, and now the audience is kind of like your pseudo parents, and now you're kind of working out your past problems with them?
Yeah, I think it's both. Like when I was growing up, I always played sports. You know what I'm saying? I played football and baseball since from age 8 to 20. You know what I'm saying? Like I played sport. You know what I'm saying? So like I always had like friends in sports, and I would like get shit off there. You know what I'm saying? But I think definitely the conversations and the relationship that I have with the audience is definitely something that I wish I had all my life. Like. Probably like with my parents, like so. It makes sense. Like, yeah, I think that's definitely spot on. Like,
so what
it kind of helped me.
So kind of walk me through then how you write your jokes, because your jokes are so crisp. I mean, I'm sure it's just because you've been all the stage time you've put in, but kind of walk me through how like do you have time that you set aside during the week for comedy? Do you make sure that you write X amount of hours a week or whatever? Like, can you kind of walk me through like the kind of discipline and how you develop your jokes? Just not the process yet. We'll get there, but like the discipline in creating jokes for the stage. Is there a religion to that, or is it kind of like as you have time to?
Yeah. So the best thing that I found for myself is I just write jokes when it comes to me. When I see something or I experience something that's funny, I write it down. You know what I'm saying? I try to take the Jerry Seinfeld route and just writing every single day, and you're going to come up with funny stuff. I tried that, and I'm not saying it's bad, but for me, my best jokes just come from real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like things that really happen to me, or things that I really see. You know what I'm saying? So like something will happen, what I'll do is I'll just write it write a note in my phone. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll do the voice to chat right into my phone, and leave myself a note or whatever. And then what I'll do is during the week when I'm at the open mics, that's when I'll work it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But yeah, But to just, I'm not the kind of guy that'll just sit down. Okay, it's 9 p.m. It's my time to write.
Yeah.
And I'll just start pushing out jokes. That's not me. It's just more of a natural thing for me, because when I found out, when I force it, it just don't hit the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So then, all right, let's get into your process then. So you started out saying, hey, so to capture an idea that's funny, it goes right into your phone. That's 100% of the time, right? It's your phone is the gatherer of all material at this point. You don't carry a notebook around. You don't carry any. Okay. All right, and then, so am I right in that you just pull that phone up during an open mic and you go through some new ideas? Do you have no comedy notebook? I mean, I'm not talking the last like couple years or whatever. Like no comedy notebooks or any. You don't try to write out anything. It's all through the stage. Wow.
Yeah, my first year, like I probably could find notebooks that I had, but that don't work for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I will never ever go on stage and pull out a notebook. I do not care if it's an open mic. I practice how I'm going to play. That's just how I move. And I don't do that. I don't pull out, because I like to just memorize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have it in my phone, kind of how I want to say it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll have a joke in my head. I usually have like 2 sentences is where it usually like starts with 2 sentences. Then when I go to the open mic, I'll try to I'll riff. When you riff, you'll find what's funny. I'm like, okay, that was funny. And then I'll just go back on my phone and then I'll add the riff, and then I'll see if I can add to that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's pretty much all on my phone. I don't write it down with like a pen or nothing like that. I don't carry no notebook. Where the hell am I gonna keep a notebook? I've just got 2 pockets. You know what I'm saying?
Do you record all your sets so you can listen to yourself like on stage and see what hits, or is it all just still in your memory bank?
Every single thing is audio recorded.
Okay.
Every single thing.
Okay, and do you listen to every single one then?
Yeah, so especially at the open mics, especially at the open mics, I will. On the ride home is when I'll listen to the audio, and that's when I'll be like, oh, this, because you'll forget. You can definitely forget. The audio is definitely when I'll double back and I'll remember, like, oh, this is the funny thing. I'll just type it in my phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll go through like that. But sometimes where I make mistakes is where I memorize it without putting it in my phone. And then like time will go by and I'm like, oh, I want to answer this joke. I'm like, shit, I never even wrote it down. It's just in my head. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So you're self-aware enough to know that you catch yourself making these mistakes, but you still won't write anything down. It's still like these mistakes are just going to happen. I refuse to write stuff down. Is that how it's going to be in the future for Alan Massenburg?
No, I write it in my phone.
Oh,
but
okay.
Sometimes, like I'm saying, like there's just jokes that I just have in my head that I forgot to write on my phone, and when I go back to add to it, it won't be in there. So I'll find myself like just reciting the joke into my phone just so I can add to it at the end.
So the joke that you sent me about it was, I love this. I love that joke. I love the joke that you do with your mom and the Facebook post and your knees are cracking. So let's take this joke and work it through the Alan Massenburg process and see how this joke kind of formed. If you can remember, first of all, how old a joke is this? Do you remember how long you've been telling that joke? Or how long it's been since you?
2 years. It was on this actual thing happened on my birthday 2 years ago.
Okay. All right. So it's a real story. This is something that actually is true. You posted this on Facebook, and your mother commented. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about what is the relationship with your mother like? Where if you put a post out like that, you say your mother's religious, but instead of being offended about it, she almost like kind of adds on, like she kind of like piles on and kind of confirms your. So what is this relationship with your mom like? That that you guys have together, where there's no taboos.
My mom, she say, I support my baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and what she say, like she my biggest fan. Yo, my mom. If you see her on my page, her name Vivian Bacon. She comments on my stuff all the time on Facebook, right? So like, I don't know if she's doing it on purpose to like add to the joke. Like, I'm not even 100% sure, or she just think it's funny. Like, yeah, she religious, but she still like to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but like she definitely adds on to my material sometimes. Like just by being herself. Like I don't think it's on purpose. I don't think she's like, oh, he's going to say this on stage. This is going to be funny. I think she's just like, man, hey, this is my son. He being funny. I think this is funny.
Now, you said your mom's religious, but you never really said, is your mom funny? Is your mom a character?
Yeah, my mom is funny. Like,
okay.
She's definitely a character. That's a good way to put it.
Okay. So, all right. So you put the post out and she responds to it. Now, were you shocked by her posting that there, or was this like, oh my God, my mom did this again to me? And where kind of was your head at, if you can remember 2 years ago, this comment pops up on your Facebook?
It was crazy. I couldn't believe she said that. You know what I'm saying? Because like, especially a post about sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see that coming. Like, she comments on my stuff all the time, but this one, like, I don't know. It was just like, whoa, I didn't expect that, yo. I really did. I don't know what she was thinking.
So, and then how quick did you realize that this could be a joke then?
Probably immediately.
Okay.
Like, there's a couple times where like my Facebook interactions have literally just become my jokes.
Okay.
Like, so like, you know, what I do a lot of times is I'll put, but this wasn't one of those times, but a lot of times I'll just put a sentence out there for like a joke that I'm thinking about and then see what happens, see kind of feedback I get. But sometimes like just interactions online are just hilarious and they just turn into actual jokes. You know what I'm saying? So I think when that happened, I said it in my head. I was like, oh, this is funny. And I just wrote it right down in my notes. And I wrote her reply.
I guess,
you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this then. Of your act, of your total act, what percentage has come from social media? Putting premises out there, or something that you observed on social media, or through your different podcasts. What would you say is the percentage?
When it comes to putting premises out there, probably like 80.
Okay.
It's very seldom where I get an idea in my head that I think is hilarious that I can't share.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yo, this is too funny. Somebody got to laugh at this today.
I find that very admirable, actually, because what I don't do that because you seem more vulnerable to being like, hey, because you're as a comic and a much better comic than myself, like these ideas that you have, these are the equivalent to dollars. And by putting a premise out there and exposed to everybody, like you might say, like, man, this is the cleverest shit I came up with. This is a $200 joke, and then nobody likes it, or or whatever, or just your mom likes it, and all of a sudden this joke, does that crush that premise right away, or do you go, okay, I still love this. I'm just gonna go ahead and work. Can you kind of walk me through like I think something that didn't hit on social media that you're just in love with as material, and like, does that crush it right away and you just ignore it and move on? Or do you keep working on and keep putting out on Facebook and keep beating people over the head with that premise until you get a number of likes that are satisfactory to you?
No, so if a premise doesn't, there's plenty of times where I just deleted something. Like, yeah, they didn't like it on Facebook, and I'll leave it alone. But that doesn't mean that I won't try it on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Because sometimes the delivery isn't the same. Like, I can't type. Like, if I'm acting something out, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing like a robot or something. Like, you can't see that on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I don't let it crush me. You know what I'm saying? But what I do is the ones that really get like a lot of traction online, I'm like, yo, I really gotta take this on stage. I really gotta figure and flush this out now. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really let the negative from social media get to me. Like, I kind of try to just like, I know this is funny. They didn't catch that. Yeah. But I know this is funny. And until an actual live audience tells me it's not funny, then I'm like, okay, this is not funny.
Okay, so can you kind of walk me through a time or a situation where you put out a premise and it was a dud on social media, and then it's now a part of your act, and how long it took from you putting it out to like you trying it on stage? Was there like a big time lapse, or was it like, fuck these people, I'm gonna go tell this joke the next night, I don't care if nobody liked it?
I don't know a specific joke. I can't tell you a specific joke that bombed online. But I will tell you though, if I put something online today, when outside's open, I'm trying it tomorrow. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless, if I thought it was funny enough to post it, I'm going to try it online. Like, I don't let online deter me from real life, because it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it could be a really funny joke, but people are hating on you today because something you said yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you really can't let that determine it. You know what I'm saying? But what I do is I take the ones that are really funny though, when I get like 100 likes and stuff like that, I'm like, it means I really got to work with this one. But just because it doesn't get a whole bunch of likes, like I said, I've deleted things that I know was funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, I might have posted at the wrong time of day, or, people are sensitive about a certain topic.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you can't take it on stage though. So I always let the stage be the final like barometer of if it's funny or not. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what's more likely, a something that you post on social media that gets a lot of traction and does well on stage, or something that gets a lot of traction on social media and doesn't do well on stage? Which one's more likely?
The one that gets a lot of traction online and doesn't do well on stage. I think that happens a lot.
Okay.
That's what, like, that happens a lot. Like, I've gone viral with things that I've said online that I just can't figure out how to get it to work on stage yet.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop trying because I know a lot of people think it's funny because they fucking shared it a bunch.
Yeah.
But it's just like, maybe I'm not saying it right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some things just, maybe it's just the time. I guess the timing is a big deal. Like, a lot of posts online that I put are like current events or very topical. You know what I'm saying? So like, something that was topical 2 years ago, nobody cares about now.
All right, cool. I like that. I like that. I like how you said that. So going back then to this joke where your mom comments on your Facebook status, then, tell me how you were able to work something like that out on stage, because pretty much you have a 1-sentence Facebook post from yourself and a 1-sentence response from your mother, and the joke is, I mean, it's a joke's about a minute to a minute and a half. So how did you can you walk me through how you, I mean, you say that all your material is developed in the moment on stage. How do you take 2 sentences and work that out in an open mic crowd, which is a very unforgiving crowd? They, if you're not funny within a few seconds, they kind of go back to their phones or their beers. How do you kind of riff and get this ball rolling, and kind of get their attention on this very new joke about something your mom said to an inappropriate Facebook post?
But the good thing about taking stuff like a sentence off of Facebook and using it on the stage is it's just a sentence. So if people thought that if that sentence is funny, it's funny. So it's quick. You know what I'm saying? You get right to the funny. Like, the first thing that I say is about my knees cracking during sex. Like, it's a funny thought. That alone is funny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then when my mom commented, like, I literally said it. Like, I really on stage, I say what the status was, and then I say, my mom commented. Yeah. And that alone, that my mom commented on that particular status, that gets another laugh. Yeah. And they don't even know what she said yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then when I say exactly what she said, that's when they go crazy, and that's when they laugh. But she left 2 sentences. So I say the first sentence, they go crazy. I say the second sentence, they laugh again. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then I comedy it up a little bit. Then I say, man, I had to block my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't block her. Okay?
Yeah.
But like, comedy in it though. It's, so like I added a little bit to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's, like I said, that one was a little easier because it just happened online, like, organically. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have to put too much onto it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I find works best for me. It's just the natural things that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I could just sit down and write that, because like, who think like I need the things to really happen, and that's how I come up with my material.
Yeah. Now so the part where you say that you blocked your mom on Facebook, you said didn't happen. Now, did that come out in the moment on stage, or like on the way? I mean, you're in the car a lot, traveling to a lot of open mics. Are you just going over your head like, tonight I'm going to try the joke about my mom on Facebook? All right, what can I? Is your head constantly consumed until you touch the microphone with ways to make that joke better, or literally you don't think about that shit at all? You're thinking about whatever. You're thinking about the Eagles, and then you get on stage. You're like, now I'm going to work this out.
If you look at that clip very closely, you can see the last laugh I got. I just repeated something that I mumbled. Yeah. Like I mumbled it. Like I mumbled it at first, like, man, I blocked my mom. Yeah. And like they were laughing so hard, I was like, oh, I'm gonna say that louder. And I was like, I had to block my mom. Yeah. And they laughed again. So it literally was like right in that moment where that added to my, like, now that's part of the joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was literally just me saying what I said and what my mom said, and how crazy that was. But so the me blocking it, if you watch the video, you'll see like I said it, man, I had to block my mom, but they didn't hear it because they was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
But I said it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say that again, and I said it louder, and I laughed again. You know what I'm saying? So that literally happened in the moment. That's how it fleshed it out.
Now, was there any editing to that joke at all, or like from the first time that you said that on stage? That's pretty much been the joke on forward. Or has there been like, all right, it sucked the first 7 times I've done this, and then I add this part in, and now it's a hitter? Like, was there any editing to that joke whatsoever that you do?
Not with that one, because it was, like I said, it was just pretty much verbatim what happened on Facebook. I didn't have to tweak that one. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, like, what is your editing process then? I mean, you're a very talented comic, but I can't believe that every single joke that you've ever told has gone over well the first time. So, and everything's in your. I mean, you do record yourself, and everything goes in your phone. So, can you kind of walk me through you don't have to be specific on a joke, but kind of like a scenario in which like it sucked for X amount of days or months or whatever, and like what you did to keep working on it, and now it's like this is the fucking joke I love so much now.
Yeah, man. My problem is I'm stubborn. That's a big problem. Like I'm like, yo, y'all gotta find this funny because I know it's funny.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do this thing where I know, like after a while, like my girl will say to me like, this part's not funny, and I know she's right, but I'm like, I'm gonna keep trying this one part. You know what I'm saying? So like, so I do take like a lot of my tags when I'm tagging jokes up. Like I'll interchange them, I'll switch them out, I'll do them in different parts. Like. You know, like, trying to think of one in particular. Like, so, like the one joke that I had sent you about my daughter, the work smart, not hard joke. It ends with me saying that, again, when you get hit by a car, it's not an accident, it's a scholarship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that wasn't always the ending. Like, I remember one time I used to say, like, your mom was gonna be mad at me, but would be happy because we're gonna get some money. Like, it just didn't flow right. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm interchanging tags a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I usually got like the body pretty well fleshed, but like when I'm tagging it up and I'm hitting it again, like I'm always switching things in and out. So I think that I'm always so even the joke about my mom, like. Like I got another ending to it, but when the recording when I sent that, that was before I got the new ending. So like the new ending is like, man, I had to block my mom on my birthday, which is crazy because she met me. So it's kind of like,
yeah.
So I push it farther. You know, I don't think any joke's ever done either. So like I'm always trying to like
So the you could use the one that the joke about your daughter getting hit by a car, or getting hit by a car as an example, but it's like, it sounds like, is your girlfriend a sounding board for your jokes, or do you work? I mean, like, is there? You kind of reference that you're trying bouncing off ideas off your girlfriend, but like, do you bounce ideas off people to kind of see what's hitting or what's working, or do you kind of work stuff out like by yourself in the comfort of your own room away from a million people, so that, or like how does that work? Does that part of your editing process, the third party comments?
Yeah, I write by myself. I bounce a lot of stuff online. Like online that's where I bounce stuff at. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, like I lean on open mics heavily. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I can't fathom when I hear comedians like, man, I don't go to open mics. I'm like, how don't you go to open mics? Yeah. Like, how do you know? You're just that good. You just know it. Everybody's going to laugh at everything you write. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm bouncing it off the crowd. Like, the crowd is something definitely, my kids, I tell my kids my jokes.
Oh,
you know
really?
what I'm saying? Like,
I think I love the way you tell jokes, because when I first started doing stuff on you, I was like, man, his jokes are really short. Like I was like, they're kind of like Beatles songs. They're like 2 minutes or less, kind of thing. And then I was like, well, it's almost you know what? I was like, my problem is I try to write as much as possible. I'm trying to make my jokes as long as are you purposely the opposite, trying to condense these jokes as short as possible and trying to remove maybe unnecessary fluff or whatever? And if you are consciously doing that, can you tell me how?
I would love all my jokes to be 5 minutes apiece. Okay. I wish that I could do that. But I also understand that you got to get right to the funny. Like the booker at Broadway Comedy Club told me, he was like, if you start a joke and they're not laughing within the first 15 seconds, you got to refigure that out. He's like, 15 seconds. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's been working for me. Like, if I can make you laugh within the first sentence or two, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? And I also realized that you got to remove a lot of the fat. You know what I'm saying? You don't, when you perform in black rooms, they're not gonna sit there and wait for you.
Yeah.
They're not. Like, you gotta get right to it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I would love for my jokes to be longer, but the reason that they aren't is because I probably don't just sit and write like I should. Like, I probably should sit and write more, but it kind of works for me, you know, because like, it's just the funny parts.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I'm saying?
it does definitely work for you because you have people's interest because it's just hit. And like most of the time you're on to the next joke and you're going to have to stop because the audience is still laughing. Like you're like, so you already have their attention. I've seen you work live. I've seen your YouTube videos. Like you do have a very, a knack for just cutting out the fluff. There is very, so let's talk about then your delivery because I feel like this interaction is much different. When I see you come in and you're on a show, you're very quiet. I would say you come in, you're nice, but you're quiet. You kind of keep to yourself, and then you're on stage, and it's like almost like you're a magnet. Everybody just kind of like sucks into you, and you're just like this calm guy, and you're real cool. And you kind of take command of the room, but you don't do it by raising your voice. You don't do it by yelling at tables or crowd work even really. Like, so kind of tell me like how much of the guy on stage is the real Alan Massenburg, and how much do you put into making sure like, hey, I'm going to be conscious about my demeanor while I'm performing, or is that just natural?
Yeah, I think it's natural. Like I said to you before, I've been a salesman for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And that's really like my selling technique. I'm just direct and I'm straightforward. I don't gotta yell. I had a sales coach, right? He was this like tall Mexican guy, right? Yeah. He used to always say to me, he'd be like, Alan, you got one thing that I got. He said, you're a tall black man. You don't have to raise your voice to get their attention. They see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I kind of used it. I ain't got to hoot and holler. Like, y'all see me. Y'all see me in this little fucking room with these low ceilings. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just start talking that way, you know?
Okay, cool. So, I guess like, so kind of like, in a room situation where people are just carrying on conversations or they're heckling, not even like a you suck heckle, but just trying to act like they think they're adding to the show. How do you then, if you feel like you're losing the room, how do you bring it back without being like that guy that raises his voice and yells at people?
Oh, I won't yell at people, but I would tell. I got jokes to people. Like I come off the top and I will make you feel like an asshole. Like I can do that. That's natural for me. So I have no problem having the whole audience laugh at you, and then you're going to shut up like that. I don't have a problem with that at all. I love to do that.
Is your approach like a scolding approach, or do you try to like pick at them and make fun of them, kind of going back to your days of a kid and try to like make fun of them? Like, where do you kind of go? You make fun of their clothes and stuff. Is that kind of like what you would do?
I'm making fun of them.
Okay.
I am making fun. You're talking during my show. I'm going to make fun of you. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to do. I'm like, I will never be the guy that just tries to like, I'm not going to say never. I don't like to be the guy that just tries to talk over the heckler or the people talking. I'm gonna tell you, like, yo, you gonna have to shut up, or I'm gonna say something to you. Yeah. I'm not gonna try to raise my voice over your voice. No, we gonna shut this up right now. Yeah. That's why, like, I love when I'm hosting a show and I set somebody up from the beginning, so now the show can just flow smoothly. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So if you're which stand-up comic out there is it Martin Lawrence, or is it somebody that you really respect? Which comic out there is one that you respect the most? And don't give me like 4 names. Give me one name of one.
One name. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is the GOAT.
Okay.
He's the GOAT, man. Like he's the greatest comedian of all time.
Now, Dave Chappelle has definitely carved out a niche where he takes on subject matter where no other comic is going. He's exploring, especially with his background and his demographic. Like he's definitely rooting out He's not afraid. He is definitely very ballsy with the subject. I mean, from transsexuals to police brutality to white people shooting up high schools. Like there's not one area there's not one area kind of that he won't go down. Like, do you? I almost to the fact where I'd love to interview him, but I wonder if he like purposely tries to find the hardest, most divisive thing out there and wants to write wants to write a joke about it. Now, in your case, are you searching for that right now? Do you see yourself turning a new page in your book where you're less making jokes about kind of like the lighthearted things about being a dad and being a son and more trying to touch on these kind of cultural points that kind of are more taboo and don't really want to, don't get said out loud in public settings? Is that more where you're looking to take your joke writing?
Yeah, so I think that Dave Chappelle definitely, that's all he probably can talk about. Like, we know so much about Dave Chappelle. Like, people look to him for like, yo, Dave, what's going on? How should we think? You know what I'm saying? So like, he kind of got like a duty at this point to talk about.
He does. He really does.
No, like for me, like I feel like I do have joke. Like, I mean, I got some really good jokes, man, that I've been telling about what's going on in the world. But I don't think I'll ever get out of the lighthearted, talking about my kids, talking about my relationship, things that's going on in my life, because, man, like, that's what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? So like when I go searching and pushing to find the joke, it usually don't work out that well. I let it come to me. Like, I let it, like, if I see something and I can find the funny in it, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, that's too lighthearted. No, like, if it's funny, it's funny. Like, I will go before and follow the funniest people with any joke.
Tell me how you put a set together. What thought is put into that opening joke, and what thought is putting into your closure?
So the opening joke is usually just about something lighthearted. So sometimes it'll be, if I can do something current event, something hot topic, I will open up with that. You know what I'm saying? So definitely during the coronavirus, it's definitely easy to start with my coronavirus jokes. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely easy to do that. But before that, talk about my name. My name is Alan Massenburg. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's the first thing about me is my name. So it's like, we get those jokes out the way. And then what I'll do is I'll craft my set kind of like my life. So I'll talk about my name, then I'll talk about my childhood. You know what I'm saying? Talk about my kids, you know what I'm saying? Talk about like what's going on in my life nowadays, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's pretty much like my life, you know what I'm saying? How I craft my set.
Okay. And so like your last joke is usually the Uber joke. Is that correct? About you driving for Uber? Or
no, so the Uber, I switched it. The Uber joke is, see, I've been doing, my last joke is the joke with the butt braid, whatever. Okay. So, I got a mean callback for that, you know what I'm saying? So the callback on that
is that important? Good. Do you end your set then with a callback? Is that and then you put the microphone back in the holder?
Yeah.
Okay. So you
call back good night.
Is that the only time in your set a callback comes up, or are you looking for other areas to pepper callbacks in?
Yeah, I got a couple. Like I've been callbacks have taken my comedy to another level, for real. Like I can tell jokes, but when they're coming back and people are like, and like, I think I got a couple in there that are really solid, you know what I'm saying? So I like to end the set with a callback because it just seems cool to me, you know what I'm saying? But
is that something oh, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was
going to say, is that something during your editing process then that you're consciously trying to come up with then? Like, how can I find a callback? I mean, I understand you're not like, just, like putting callbacks at the end of each of your jokes, but like in places where they make sense, are you looking and like, hey, it's been about maybe 15 minutes. Can I figure out a callback somewhere in here? Is that kind of what, are you thinking about that ahead of time? Or are they in the moment, like the rest of your kind of stage presence, like that riffing callbacks? Or is there a pre-stage thought to doing callbacks at certain times?
Yeah, I don't take it like, well, it's been 15 minutes. Here's my callback. It's because it's natural, you know what I'm saying? But what I do is like, yeah, like when I'm writing my jokes and I'm coming up with the punchlines and things, sometimes the punchlines, as I'm writing it, I'm like, oh, this will work perfect here. And I'll put it there. But I won't ever go like, oh, it's been this amount of time.
Yeah.
It's time for callback.
Yeah, as I was saying, I was like, that's so nerdy. Why am I saying it like that? Yeah. Two more questions here. What will validate to you that all this sacrifice that you've put yourself through was worth it? What is the most attainable achievement that you can give yourself that was like, all this sacrifice, all this time not with my kids or not with my girlfriend or giving up my day job, this was all worth it? What would you say that one accomplishment would be for you?
I don't want to sound corny, but like I just want me and everybody around me to be happy. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I know it's like there's no like one shining achievement that is like going to be like, yes, I finally made it. Like if I sold out Madison Square Garden, yes, I made it.
Yeah.
But like for me, man, I just want to be at peace and just happy with the decision I chose to chase my dream. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, yo, this one, if I get on TV this one time, that means I'm happy. Like, no, I think when you put your happiness onto like actual things like that, that's when you go crazy when you don't get it. So like, I mean, I just, you know, I'm happy, you know, with the process. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying like 5 years from now, if I were to talk to you again and you're headlining like the Comedy Basement and the Comedy Spot, like little like you know kind of ragtag, you know, diner rooms, but you're but you're happy doing it, that would be fine for you. It wouldn't be okay. Fair enough.
I want to be. I'm telling you right now, I want to be the hottest thing smoking. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I want to be the best. You know what I'm saying? I want to be the biggest.
Sounds good,
but
man.
I mean, I love doing this shit, bro. That's why I go to open mics all the time. Like, I love doing this shit. Like, that's why when comedians say like, "Yo, I ain't going to this mic," it's like I've heard people say like, "This mic got these people there," and I don't like doing comedy in front of those kind of people. I'm like, what are you talking about? So you don't love comedy then? Like, yeah, man, I love this shit.
Last question just came up to me. How did you master social media? I mean, how did you figure out what it is that you needed to do to get followers? Like, did you just go to websites or like articles, or what's kind of something that you kind of did to master it? Because you are, I mean, maybe you and Buddy Harris are the two that come to mind when I think of people who are masters at social media, kind of getting friends and followers.
You gotta just do it, man. I think that a lot of people do too much thinking about it. Like I talk to people all the time. They always ask me, "Yo, what do you do? How do I get my Instagram popping?" And then I go to the Instagram, and they got like 4 pictures. One's of like of a fish. I'm like, yo, what? You not do it. You have to just do it, yo. It's like you gotta do it. Like, so like if you're consistently putting content out, the people will find it, bro. You just all you gotta do. Like if you find a niche, that's great. Like I found something that works for me by writing funny signs on cardboard. I've been able to do that. It's clean, it's easy, doesn't take a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing about social media is you just gotta be consistent. If you just, people always say like, what do I gotta do? Like I just learned recently, like I haven't been consistent on Twitter at all. I had Twitter for like 6 years and I had like 200 something followers. And it was nothing, you know, but over the last months, I've been tweeting every day and doing what I'm supposed to do on Twitter. Now I gained 1,000 people.
Awesome.
In 2 months, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you just got to do it. Be consistent with it. That's all.
And do you see a payoff from being on social media and getting people to come to your shows, or people come to your shows because they like stuff, they don't know who you are, but like your social media?
I've seen that. I've done shows where people are like, oh, you that guy from this, or you that guy from that. The biggest payoff though, is the bookers and promoters.
Okay.
They see that. They're like, oh, you got a lot of people following you. You want to come do this show? Yes, I will.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the bigger payoff.
I'm sorry. I got 2 minutes left of your time. I hope this 2 hours went by fast. Like I hope that went for you. But you're famous for the cardboard signs. Where do you get the cardboard, and what happens to those signs when you're done? Do you throw them away, or does your girlfriend have a closet in her that's just full of these cardboard signs from 5 years ago? Tell me the cardboard sign genesis and where they are now.
I'll break it down for you. The cardboard signs, man. My one job that I had, right, salesman for this one produce company, man. They had a warehouse just full of cardboard, yo. Like it's just It was full of cardboard. So like, and they knew it. I would just go take one box. You can make like 6 signs with one box. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I would just go grab like 6 boxes and put in the back of my car. And when I need them, in my car to this day, I got cardboard, markers, and scissors. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if an idea comes to my mind, I'll pull over, write it down, go outside, take a picture. I got a tripod and everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there is cardboard all over my bedroom. Like there is cardboard signs all in my closet. There's cardboard signs in the trunk of my car.
So you don't throw them away. They're kept for all time. It's a Massenburg family heirloom when you pass on.
I don't know what I want to do with them, but I just can't throw them away. Like
I get it.
They're like them bags from the grocery store. People just save them, you know.
One day they'll be in the National Comedy Museum. They'll be right next to your picture. Right. Dude, seriously, I want to thank you very much. I appreciate you being on here. The honor was all on my side of the camera here. So we check you out, alanmassenburg.com, Mass Hysterical Podcast, Proper Ebonics Podcast. Anything else that you would want to, for the 17 subscribers that I have, that you would want them to know about?
Yeah, man. Look, I want to say thanks for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation that we had. I really respect the fact that you came prepared. I mean, I've done plenty of conversations with people. They just shoot off the hip. You know, they just like, so how's your day? You know, you were prepared. You know what I'm saying? Everybody listening, watching, please follow me on Instagram at Alan Massenburg. The link in my bio will take you to all my platforms: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everything, YouTube, you know, my websites, everything. So if you go to my Instagram at Alan Massenburg, you can find me everywhere.
And that's our interview with Alan. What a great time that was. I love talking to Alan. I could talk to him for another 2 hours. Please check out his Instagram at Alan Massenburg, and please subscribe to this channel. Like our videos, like anything you can like on this page, leave me a comment, and check me out live by going to my website at markstodd.com for all my upcoming shows. Till next time, I'm Marc Stoudemire. Thank you.